Okay, so today was originally going to be a Q&A video. That ended up getting pushed back, and frankly, I don't think those are quite as important as theories, and while I know I did recently say that I didn't have any Steven Universe theories to talk about right now, I was lying because I wanted to talk about this one. Now, to be perfectly frank, this is going to be one of those times where I'm mostly just compiling a theory that already exists, as this theory has been going around a lot recently within the Steven Universe fandom, enough so that even I have seen it. But I'm also going to tack on some of my own thoughts at the end, so stay tuned, because that's going to be a lot of fun. That said, we are, as I'm sure you can tell from the title of the video, speculating as to who this could be. This being, of course, the mysterious villain of the upcoming Steven Universe, the movie. Who could possibly be this mysterious pinkish red gem with the heart-shaped gemstone? It's definitely going to be Morganite, right? Like, there's no point in even beating around the bush. It's obvious that that's who it's going to be. That's barely even a theory. For those who don't remember, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you don't because she was only mentioned once, Morganite, or at least a Morganite, was mentioned to be the previous owner / commander of the Pearl and the Ruby, which make up Rhodonite. Seeing as how Rhodonite, and therefore Rhodonite's components, very clearly have a pink aesthetic to them, it makes sense that Morganite, even if you don't know anything about Morganite as a stone IRL, would be a gem with a pinkish aesthetic, just like this movie villain seems to have. Though I do think this is going to turn out to be specifically their Morganite, as if you look, Rhodonite's pearl gemstone is on her chest, indicating that her pearl component has a chest gem, and the Morganite in this image has a chest gem as well, and with the exception of pearls that ended up with someone other than the gem that they were originally made for, and therefore don't really count in this particular census. All pearls that we've seen so far have the same gem placement as their, as much as I hate using the term for a person, owners. So if this really is Morganite, it would be a huge coincidence for a chest gem Morganite to show up, who isn't the original owner of a chest gem pearl, who we also know in the show once belonged to a Morganite. And the fact that she was name-dropped, seemingly for no reason, in an episode produced back when the movie would have been in the planning stages, I think is enough to definitely suggest that this pinkish gem is supposed to be Morganite, that was set up for this. But there is so much more evidence supporting this theory than that. Now, there are a couple of holes in the theory as well that I'm going to go over first. The main one being that most Morganite, at least most of the Morganite that you see in IRL jewelry, tends to be more on the pinkish orange side in terms of color. But that in no way means that pink Morganite isn't a thing. In fact, more pinkish Morganites, especially the darker pink varieties, are more rare. And if this is a gem powerful enough to be the villain of a Steven Universe movie, then we can assume that she's pretty important, i.e. rare, and would therefore have a darker pink color, perhaps, compared to other Morganites. If she is a Morganite, it also explains the cut of her gemstone as well, like not in universe, but in terms of designing the character from a real-world perspective. As Morganite is historically a stone which is associated with love, as is this stereotypical, like, I don't even know what you call that, like cartoon heart or whatever, because like obviously real hearts aren't shaped like that. But this particular shape, this heart shape, is associated with love just like Morganite is. If this gem villain is in fact Morganite, or even just a Morganite, but not necessarily the same one that Rhodonite knows, then that could bring the off colors into the narrative of this movie, which is something that I know the fans would love to see. And, I mean, hell, Steven has a neck now, so clearly the crew is trying to give the fans what they want to see with this one. But I think we can even infer more than that from this particular image here in the movie poster, and from some of the stuff that we know about Morganite IRL, which may have inspired the crew in designing this character and creating the role for them. Simply put, a pink gem should be from Pink Diamond's court. We've seen the colored liquid that's extracted from the diamonds. We know now that it's important in the creation of gems, and is likely a factor in what gives them their coloration. So a pink gem would be a pink diamond gem, which means that Morganite was from Pink Diamond's court. And I think I can even use real-life lore about Morganites, as well as in-universe lore, and this image, to piece together what her motivations might be. I mentioned in my analysis of this poster that the villain, who I'm just going to be calling Morganite for the time being, for simplicity's sake, is looking down at the crystal gems as if she's specifically targeting them, as if whatever she's going to be doing in this movie is in some way personal. And at the basis level, that may just be because she was in some way associated with Pink Diamond and blames the crystal gems, or at least the ones that were alive back before Pink became Rose full-time, for corrupting her diamond, for lack of a better term. And her entire motivation could be to seek out revenge for that. But I think there's definitely going to be more to it than that. To understand where I'm coming from with this, you need to know that other names for Morganite include Pink Emerald and Rose Beryl. Beryl also being the collective name for the gemstone type, which includes Emerald and Aquamarine. And we know that Emeralds and Aquamarines in gem society are high ranked, that they're rare enough that they're important. They also seem to be leaders, which we could also infer that Morganite is from the fact that she had rubies under her command. And we know that Morganite had a pearl, and only gems which are deemed important have pearls. This all paints the picture of Morganite being a relatively high-ranking gem, and if she was a relatively high-ranking gem in Pink Diamond's court, then maybe when Pink was seemingly killed, she kinda took over. Like, how interesting would that be if she picked up the slack, so to speak, and commanded Pink Diamond's forces that the other diamonds didn't absorb into their own, at least, or remained in command of them even after they were absorbed, and started to think of them as hers. In fact, wouldn't it be interesting if she started to think of herself as Pink Diamond's replacement, her rightful heir, so to speak? This is where that real-life lore, for lack of a better term, comes into this theory, as it's worth pointing out that Morganite has become a very popular gemstone for use in engagement rings, to the point that some are thinking it might be the next generation diamond, as in it might actually replace diamonds as the center stone in most engagement rings at some point in the relatively near future. I think that Morganite, the Morganite that ends up being a character in this movie, the villain of this movie, is going to have a history with Pink Diamond. I do think that she could very easily be the same Morganite which used to own Rhodonite's base components. But I think that her motivations are going to be far more nuanced than anything to do specifically with any of that. Now, I think her motivations are going to be what Steven did. We know that Steven showed the diamonds a new way, so to speak, 2 years prior to the events of this movie. And if we're right about what the background elements in this movie poster are, that this is a gem town, and that this is a modified version of Steven's house, with possibly a gem communication station attached to it, then it's likely to assume that Steven and the crystal gems have been in contact with the diamonds this entire time, helping them to reform their society. I think Morganite's gonna be really frickin' pissed off about that. I think that she's gonna be someone who worked really hard to take the place of Pink Diamond as best she possibly could, maybe even had convinced herself that she was deserving of being considered a diamond herself, and then all of a sudden, Steven came along and convinced the other diamonds to change everything, and she lost a lot of her power. I think she's going to be a remnant of the old guard who comes to take revenge on Steven specifically for issuing in the new. Someone who is representative of that element of society which refuses to change as things progress, which is definitely a topical issue right now in the United States, if not the entire world, and something that the crew on Steven Universe, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to talk about something like that in big, flashy movie form. I mean, heck, we can even spin this to fit with the whole Morganite represents love thing if we really want to. Maybe part of the reason that Morganite wants things to go back to the way that they were is because she was some kind of true believer in the diamond way, and has a twisted sort of love for the diamonds as they were before Steven changed them the way that Pink Diamond was also changed. Maybe she loves the idea of what the diamonds used to be and can't accept them as they are now, or maybe she even pretends that she does, and her true motivation is keeping her power and status, which is actually what she loves. So who is this character? Well, I think she's almost definitely Morganite, but who is Morganite? I think Morganite is a character who wants revenge on Steven specifically for effectively ruining her good time. And I'm super excited to see if I'm right, of course, as well as how Steven deals with an enemy like this. Because this will be a kind of enemy who he has never dealt with before. Even the diamonds in the end were framed much more as if they genuinely didn't know that what they were doing was as wrong as it was. But Morganite, this version of Morganite that I've theorized exists, at least, I don't know that she would have that same luxury. End of the day, though, there are countless possibilities regarding who this character could be and what their motivations could be, so I'm really anxious to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below regarding this topic. So, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over in my Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22 with a surprise theory, and I will talk to you guys later.